Oh boy, oh wow, this is interesting. And not in a good way. Because when I first saw this headline, it was like Gotham Knights TV series in the works. And I was like, oh man, that actually sounds pretty cool. This is something I've always wanted to see, is a live action Bat family. I think this is gonna be awesome. And then I read the rest of it at the CW, and then it was like, yeah, no, never mind. I don't want it. Because yeah, it's true. We're getting a Gotham Knights TV series on the CW from the writers of Batwoman, which, I mean, you guys know I'm a very strong supporter of the CW and the Arrowverse, and specifically a defender of Batwoman. I know it's not a great show, but I still watch it for some reason. And now they're doing this, which just doesn't make any sense to me, because first of all, everybody hates Batwoman. Like, there's very few people that actually watch the show and enjoy it. Like myself, I don't even enjoy it all the time. And specifically, one of the things that people hate the most about the show is the writing on it, which I 100% completely agree on. The writing on the show is terrible. So now they're giving those writers another job on something that's like, I don't even know. Like, this just sounds like such a bad idea. And like, Batwoman's ratings are so bad, so why would they want to produce more of this? Because again, Gotham Knights sounds like a great idea, especially for a TV series, but not on the CW. This should be like an HBO Max level thing, but no, we're not getting that. And of course, there is always the possibility this could surprise us and be like Superman and Lois and be just like masterpiece quality, but I doubt it, because again, I mean, just looking at this, the Batwoman writer team, and then also just the fact that, like, you know, when I first saw that headline, Gotham Knights, it automatically reminds me of the upcoming video game, which I think looks like an amazing game, and, you know, seeing the Bat family in action there. But then you actually read the synopsis for this series, and it's barely relating to the Gotham Knights at all, because of course in the comics the Gotham Knights was basically focusing on the adventures of Batman's extended family, or the Bat family, like Alfred, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, Robin, Oracle, you know, all those different characters there, even Catwoman. So now we're doing something very different this time, because this time literally it's just going to be one Robin and a bunch of villains. So let's look at this. Let's look at the synopsis for the Gotham Knights TV series on the CW. Quote, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, already, that's terrible right there. I'll talk about it more after. But anyway, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. And as the city's most wanted criminals, this renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected of places, as this team of mismatched fugitives will become its next generation of saviors, known as the Gotham Knights. What? Did you hear that? Because I know I did. I mean, I'm the one that was reading it, and oh boy. Yeah, there you have it. I mean, like I said, already at the beginning, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder. Wow. So that is one thing I am wondering about, though, with the show, because I mean, obviously I'm still gonna watch it, but I just think it's a terrible idea. Is Bruce Wayne's murder. So obviously, since this is on the CW, specifically coming from the writers of Batwoman, you've got to assume that it's part of the Arrowverse, but maybe it's not. Maybe they could do something like like Stargirl, where it takes place on a different Earth. I think that's more likely for what they would do, instead of it actually being a spin-off of Batwoman, although I do have some ideas of how they could do that as well, but again, it just doesn't sound great, because I mean, Bruce Wayne's murder, like, that's not even the worst part. I mean, if it's part of the Arrowverse, then that is kind of bad, because then that means you're literally never going to see Bruce Wayne or Batman ever again, and he was just killed off screen at some point. But I mean, that is part of the Gotham Knights storyline, is that it's basically the Bat family minus Batman. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal, and it actually works for this series, but just the fact that it's Bruce Wayne's rebellious adopted son, which we don't even know which one that is. Obviously, we have to assume that it's a Robin, but which Robin? Because it says adopted son, so it's clearly not Damian Wayne. I mean, it always could be, but Damian is his actual biological son. So who's his adopted son? Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be Dick Grayson, could be Jason Todd, could be Tim Drake, but we see all three of those characters on Titan, so I don't know which one they're going to reuse for this. And then it's literally a bunch of the children of Batman's enemies, which, first of all, just the idea of doing that's already something Batwoman does with doing, like, new versions of classic Batman villains, or, like, the children of Batman villains. It just never works as well. And especially seeing this, like, what are you even going to do? Are you going to have a team up between Robin, the Joker's daughter, and the son of Two-Face, or, like, the Penguin Jr.? Like, I don't even know what you would do for that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I feel like this is going to be, honestly, like a mixture of Batwoman and Riverdale. That's probably what the show is going to end up being. And I guarantee that Robin, whoever it is going to go full Riverdale mode and end up falling in love with one of these villains' children. And it's going to be like, oh, forbidden love and everything. Because, you know, the CW loves to do that kind of stuff. And, yeah. So, wow. I do not have high hopes for this. Again, it sounds like a good idea to do a Gotham Knights series. Just not on the CW from the Batwoman writing team. But who knows? Maybe they can make this work. Again, it depends on if this is in the Arrowverse or not. I mean, there are some cool connections they can make, but I mean, since they're not doing the whole Bat family aspect, which is really the main reason that anyone would have a reason to be excited for this series, even with it being on the CW, they're just scrapping that whole idea completely. But one idea that did pop into my head is possibly you could have Batwoman show up here, not Javicia Leslie's Ryan Wilder Batwoman, because, you know, she's on her own show. But possibly Wallace Day returning as the Kate Kane Batwoman, because we know she left Gotham City to go find Bruce Wayne. So if this is taking place in the same universe and she found out he's dead, then maybe she came back to Gotham. But then also you have Ryan Wilder as Batwoman in Gotham at the same time. So I don't know what's happening here. That's what kind of makes me think that this is taking place on a separate Earth or something like that. I really don't know. But yeah, we'll see with this. I assume that this series is probably going to come out in fallish of 2022. So if and when we get more updates on this, I'll keep you updated. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about this news? That we're getting not only a Gotham Knights TV series that's barely about the Gotham Knights, but on the CW from the Batwoman writing team. And for those of you that are actually interested in this and are actually going to give this a chance, and for some reason are like me and are probably going to watch this anyway, what do you want to see in this? Like, do you have any ideas, theories? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep it up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.